Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna touch on a topic that is very important for endgame players specifically, and that is who you should gear up to gear 12. And I want to say by open up by saying do as I say, not as I do, because my gear 12 is actually not very extensive. I have, as of right now, 59 gear 12 characters and a sea of gear 11 characters. And I think this is the way that works out the best for me. It's have a bunch of Gear 11 characters, have a bunch of full teams, and then build up upon those Gear 12 characters. But there's also many Gear 11 characters I really wish are in Gear 12. I wish I had the full teams for them. Go away HBO. I haven't unsubscribed yet, but probably gonna do it in the next couple of days. But we're not here to talk about how terrible Game of Thrones season 8 is, are we? What else is saying? Yes, Gear 12. And I want to say, open up by saying, what does Gear 12 bring you exactly? So, well, Gear 12, you can only get to Gear 12 if you're 7 stars. So this is why this wouldn't be right. This is why my Darth Malak is still Gear 11. As you can see, 2 of those pieces you have to be at 7 stars to be able to equip. And these are the, people call them the Gear 11 finishers to finish up. Here's Gear Tier 11 requirements to get him to Gear 12. 80 more shards. That's going to take like a couple more months probably. So by the time Geonosian territory battles drops, I will have him almost at 7 star, hopefully. And so this is what kind of the requirements to get to Gear 12. And this is the only Gear tier so far that's been gated in terms of star count. This is to stop players who got a marquee character at 3 stars, someone like Sion, to just completely max him out and just dominate arena. Now you have to get them 7 stars to get the full gear possibilities. So now you're at gear 12. You are open up to 5 different kind of new gear. And there's the 3 on the left, people just call them gear 12, and the 2 on the top right and middle right, they call the gear 12 plus pieces. And when you are in gear 12, you also open up to 6E mods. And for instance, let's see, say one of my characters is Snow Han. I see I cannot equip this mod. Only characters that are gear 12 or higher can assign a rarity 6 mod. So this is one of the other benefits. And these kind of gear 12 pieces that are on the left side gives you a variety of improvements. So this visor gives you some more survivability, armor, resistance, tenacity. So it's survivability against both physical damage as well as special damage, some tenacity so to ward off negative status effects. Med pack gives you 6,000 health, and this is very, very good for almost for everyone. Tanks, someone like L3 needs it. Han Solo needs it to help him survive. And General Grievous, who gets both survivability and damage from this health pack. A ton of health, and the multi tool is exactly what it sounds like. It's a multi tool that boosts a lot of stats. You get health, strength, agility, tactics, so the core mechanics, physical and special damage, potency, tenacity, health steal. So you get a bunch of everything. Actually, let me just turn on Do Not Disturb. And one thing you realize, there's also the bayonet, which gives you a lot of huge damage boost. There's the armor that gives you a lot of health and defensive stats. Right, so here's the bayonet, a ton of damage. You also get this one is more on damage and crit chance. Tactics, yeah, that's more on survivability, special survivability. This is the armor plating, more health, strength, and armor. This one, tactical data, is more on special stuff. Tactics and resistance. I think that might be everything. No, this one gives you special offense. So, but one thing they don't have is speed. None of these Gear 12 stuff have speed. And you can get them, the easiest place to get them will probably be the Sith Raid. At Heroic Tier, you get a chance to drop a full Gear 12 piece. You can also get them in territory battles. You can also get them in a couple of stores, including the Shard Shop. So here, these top 3 are all Gear 12 pieces. can also get them in Guild Event Store if you're not farming for Hermit Yoda, Wampa, or Malik. I'd say these characters are more important than the gear. But you can farm them here, here, all the way down. I think Mark A are too, but I just don't really need them anymore, so I can't really be sure. And one more place you can farm is events. For instance, we have a mythic event upcoming, and you can get a few of those gear here. So this is good because you need it for the multi-tool, and you need this med pack for the Gear 12 med pack, as well as a lot of the Gear 12 Plus pieces. So now let's get back to characters. What about the Gear 12 Plus pieces? First of all, you're going to see they need a lot of pieces. You also need some of the bottleneck gear from earlier levels, and you need the specific Gear 12 Plus pieces. The best way to get Gear 12 Plus pieces are, again, from the Heroic Sith Raid, which, again, has a chance to give you a full Gear 12 Plus piece, which is a very, it's actually very, a high chance. I've got quite a few Gear 12 Plus pieces, as long as you place high, like top 10, grants you a chance. If you're in top 3, it's a very high chance. And you can also buy them in stores, of course. So, and each and every one of those Gear 12 Plus pieces give you 6 speed. So one of the characters I actually thought it was interesting was General Grievous. I haven't given him the med packs yet, and he's not going to be the next person to receive a med pack. If I ever come across a full one, it's going to go to L3, and then the next one is going to go to Grievous. The next one will go to the next two will actually both go to Grievous after I give one to L3. But all of them have 6 speed, which is why when I got the when I got 40 of those Mark 6 med packs, I did not throw them into a Mark 12 med pack, which I had the pieces for back then. Instead, of give them to the Gear 12 Plus piece, because for one thing, they have more health, 250 more health, and also have 6 speed. Every single one of those Gear 12 Plus pieces have plus 6 speed, so a Gear 12 character will have 12 more speed than their Gear 11 counterpart, as well as more speed based on their Gear 11 gear requirements. If you don't know yet, if you have, for instance, the speed mod set on a character, it only counts the completed gear tiers. For instance, if I have Ahsoka Tano, this piece gives you 6 speed. If I have a speed set on Ahsoka, this 6 speed is not going to be counted into the bonus. What is it? The bonus 10%. Instead, it's going to be all the previously computed tiers. But after I get Ahsoka to Gear 12, this plus 6 speed will be counted in. So you get a lot more speed. You got a lot more access to powerful Gear 12 and Gear 12 Plus pieces, as well as the 6E mods. So back to the question. Who do you want to get to Gear 12? And the first and the most easy answer is, well, your arena team. And let's gonna flip to my arena team right now, Sith Empire. Not only you want to give them for Gear 12, the core characters you want to give them as many Gear 12 pieces as possible. And this applies to the vast majority of metas. Actually, in the Traya meta, I had Sith Trooper, but I only had him at Gear 11 plus 5. I had one more piece I never put on him. Only get him to Gear 12 during the Sith Empire meta. So sometimes you can get away without those getting them to Gear 12, but by and large, especially for the core characters, if you have them a 7-star, you want to slap on those Gear 11 finishers, take them up to Gear 12. This gives you a lot of speed. Right now, I have my fastest mods on Darth Revan, which is not what you want to do, but I'm running Grandmaster Yoda, so I don't really need my fastest speed set either on Yoda or Bastila Fallen. This gives you 152 speed, and I can get another +1 after this Grand Arena ends. So it gives you access to a ton of speed, a ton of damage, a ton of more survivability. It goes without saying, like, if you have Zetas you want to give them, if you have gear pieces you want to give them, the vast majority of times, like I'm not giving Bastila Zeta anytime soon, even though I said in my last video I was gonna, but I gave it some more thought. It's more a luxury Zeta that you don't really need, and it doesn't really help in Darth Revan versus Darth Revan Mira anyway. So that is who I think are the most important. And like I said earlier, do as I say, not as I do. One of the characters that you really want to focus on are actually tanks, because protect tanks and their protection get all of their protection from gear tiers. So getting them to gear 12 is going to give them a lot more protection. And so that's why you want to do them, even though I did not do it for Sith Trooper back in the days. The Traya, Nihilus, Scion meta wasn't really damage focused. It didn't really matter that much. Giving him to gear 12 when he's just going to get annihilated anyway. He was just there to soak up some damage and to soak up the opening isolate. So this doesn't really matter that much in my opinion. But in the vast majority of metas, you want them to be tanky. You want Night Sister Zombie or L3, General Kenobi, Kylo Ren Unmasked, Darth Sion, Bossk, Baze. You want them to be at gear 12 to soak up all of that damage. And a lot of them have health deal and more health in their gear 12 and gear 12 plus pieces, some more defense. It's always going to be good. The next one I'm going to look at are actually pilots or crew members, and this one comes with a caveat. If you can get rank 1 every day in Arena without gear 12 characters, good. First of all, I'm going to say you're very lucky, and in that case, you don't really need them at gear 12, but I still think it's going to be hard without them, so I'm just going to suggest you getting them. For instance, right now, it's the Millennium Falcon meta, which is why I have Admiral Akbar. I think 2 6E mods give you +1 speed. Your capital ship, gear 12 pieces, and gear 12 plus pieces give them speed, as well as the ability. So that's why I have Akbar and Biggs in gear 12, Biston in gear 12, and I'm also gearing up Scarab Rebel Pathfinder at the same time. I'm going to get him to gear 11 first, see how that works. If it doesn't work out, I might end up getting him gear 12, which no doubt would be one of the most painful things in my life, and gearing him up to gear 9 is painful enough as is. So you want to have more stats for your ships. This is always the way to go. But like I said, if you already doing great in Fleet Arena, you don't have to. Next up will be raids. I think this is very important because, like I said, a lot of those gear 12 pieces, gear 12 plus pieces, alongside other pieces, the best place to get them will be raids. You score very high, and you want to have gear 12 characters for your raids in order to put up the big damage. And specifically, I'm going to take a look at two teams, two factions. First of all, it's Night Sister. You run them in either in phase 3 of the Sith raid or phase 4 of the Sith raid, and you want them in gear 12 to have the survivability so that they have higher health, and that way they recover more health, they heal more, survive a little bit more, get that TM train running for phase 4 against Nihilus. You definitely won't regret it. Another team using is Resistance. I don't have it the best modded. I don't really care about that much, because I'm still consistently getting top 3 in my guild as long as I am actively trying and I have the time to do it. But Finn with gear 12 hits a lot harder. There's also stuff I think I can give. The multi-tool gives him a lot more damage and strength and agility, which will all help his damage output, but you don't really have to have it. And again, like, my guild is doing fine, and I'm doing fine in my guild. So you want those raids and just PvE in general, but there's also other PvE stuff. Most important of all, probably going to be the where's Rogue One, the territory battles. But you don't really need them gear 12. I have Baze and Cherry gear 12 because I was using them during the triple cleanse Hide the Nihilus meta. So they were my arena team back in the days. I got the Jin leadership Zeta, got the Cassian unique Zeta, because I just don't want to gear them up to gear 12 in order to complete the missions with a very high success rate. And I'm not the biggest fan of moving mods all over the place, so I gave them the Zeta. And right now, territory battles don't require gear 12 characters, neither the dark side nor the light side territory battles. You can accomplish all of the special / combat missions with gear 11 characters at most. But thinking about the upcoming Geonosis territory battle, I would not be surprised if you need higher gear characters. So looking at the Separatists, you might want a gear 12 characters, but just hold off your gear for now and see how hard it is. And on the other hand, we have the Galactic Republic, which will be coming at a later date. You want them at gear 12. Padme is only gear 8, but it's the asshole. It's the very awful gear they give you. And of course, more stun guns. I'm just gonna take her slow because it's gonna come later than the Dark Side Geonosis territory battle. So whatever. Can't wait. I'll gear her up when I get there. Final, second to last is other secondary PvP stuff in the gear in the game, and basically that refers to Territory War and Grand Arena. So the thing with Territory War and Grand Arena is a lot of the teams that you have been doing are already good for your team. For instance, the already good for these parts. For instance, you have the Sith Empire, you have the Arena team, you have it's great already. And there's only a couple teams that are really not good in anywhere else that you want to specifically focus for Territory Wars. And those teams, the one that probably says is the best is the Scoundrel team, the Kira Nest. Well, the Kira lead Scoundrel team, specifically mostly the Prepared Scoundrels, Vandor Chewbacca specifically. Have Kira as the leader, Vandor Chewbacca, L337. And you can pair it into random Scoundrels. I do Young Lando and Stormtrooper Han, but I'm going to gear up Young Han one day to be a part of that team. These teams are still very good, but outside of Territory Wars and Grand Arena, they're not really worth it. So you can get them up to gear 12 in the end if you want, but it's not really required, and I would only suggest you give them gear 12 before that, until after you're done with the other teams. Another good one will be First Order. There's some very good characters among the First Order, like Kylo Ren, both of them. So it's nice to get them gear 12. But Executioner, First Order Officer, Stormtrooper can all kind of take a slight backseat. I am going to come back to First Order pretty soon, but all of them need the Mark 6 stun gun to get there, so it's going to be very painful. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to be very happy today. I have a full golden First Order team, just like I was super happy when I got a full golden Night Sister and Resistance team. And finally, last but definitely not least, is what I consider to be one of the core cruxes of this game. It's fun characters, just characters that you like. If you like Coruscant Underworld Police, if you like Lobot, no one's here to stop you from gearing them up. Yes, it's not gonna be the most helpful for you. You're gonna get paired up with harder, more difficult opponents in Grand Arena, but so what? It's a game. You're supposed to have fun, and I really like the titles they have, the prestigious quest. So I've been gearing up characters for the title alone. You can see Count Dooku right here, as well as Savage Opress somewhere down there. Where are you, Savage? Here. So I needed them to get the Sith Agent title, which I got. And guess what? Dooku got a rework. So that wasn't a complete waste at all. And after that, I got Maul. I got the Zeta. Don't ask about that. It was a bad investment. At that point in the game, at least, if you got the Zeta back in the days, you're really lucky. But anyway, got the Maul for the Sith Master title. I also got Jedi Knight Anakin for the Jedi Knight title, and again, he got a rework. Of course, though, I still don't have the Jedi Knight title yet, but soon enough. And they're just going to be characters that you like, that you enjoy either playing in the game or as characters that you want to get them up to gear 12. And if you like those characters, do it. No one's here to stop you. This is a game. There's no right way to play things. There's the most efficient way to play a game, but at the end of the day, the best way to play a game is what you think is fun. So, I don't know, another couple of things I want to add is my own gearing priorities. Who's going to go gear 12 next? Like I said, I was going to gear up Scarif Rebel Pathfinder to gear 11 and maybe to gear 12 if it's needed. Most of my sharp mates already have gear 12 both Bistan and Scarab Rebel Pathfinder, so there's a very good chance I might end up gear 12ing him as well, which, ouch, painful. But after that, the characters want to get to gear 12 is actually only gear 8 right now, is, like I said earlier, Padme. And she's going to be expensive, going to need a lot of those things. So, again, not quite looking forward for that, but I want a nice Galactic Republic team for Grand Arena, for Territory Wars, and for the light side Geonosis territory battles. And in order to complement that team, I only have one character that needs to go to gear 12, and that is Ahsoka Tano. She's also kind of a gear hog as well, so she needs 3 of those eyeballs and 2 of those stun guns. So, ouchie, but she's going to work wonderfully in the Galactic Republic team, so I'm going to get her up to gear 12. After I get the full Galactic Republic team gear 12, I am going to go back to First Order. And I'm going to complete and finish off First Order Executioner and Stormtrooper, so just 4 more pieces of gear left. And I may or may not give First Order Officer his gear, or just work on Special Forces Special Forces TIE Pilot from scratch. So that's another possibility. After that, I'm gonna go to Old Republic. This one is kind of one I'm kind of reluctant to do because there's probably not going to be any more Old Republic content coming in. I already got Malak, so there's no real need to gear them up. But they're a very powerful Galactic War, Grand Arena Territorial War team, so I'm just going to do that. And I only have Juhani is going to be relatively easy to gear 12. And so is Kandros. Only, well, comparatively speaking, he still has one of those stun guns, but I'm just going to have to bite my teeth and do it. Karth, though, is really expensive in that way. Look at that. Another stun gun, an eyeball, because of course, another stun gun, a cuff. So, I'm going to get Old Republic ready, and then we'll see after that. But chances are there's going to be new stuff dropping. There's going to be new teams and new characters I have to work on, new ships that I have to work on. So, chances are I would not be able to get all of this done anytime soon, but that's kind of the plan I have right now. So maybe this will help you think about your prioritization, getting stuff to gear 12. And one thing I want to say is that you want your whole team to be at kind of the same level. If they're all gear 11, get them all gear 11. And a full gear 11 team is going to be all right. And for the vast majority of teams, if you're going against a team that your team counters gear 11, is going to serve you perfectly fine on offense. But if you want to use them for defense, you kind of want them at gear 12 to kind of offset the AI making stupid decisions. If you have higher speed, if you have more protection, it's going to help you. So that's kind of my prioritization for gear 12 in characters. So hopefully this is useful, and good luck in getting all your golden characters. Have a good one.